can we start with the videos? Excellent. So the opening ceremony will begin, but before it does, please relax and enjoy two introductory videos, one from INTI, one from Narcos, host and co-host of this wonderful event. So enjoy the videos.
During a time of economic uncertainty, university opportunities and rising costs of overseas education. Saying, Dr. Professor Dr. Ifakul, Dr. Chias Alkut, Mr. Losik, Professor Dr. Mr. One, Mr. Tang Chung, came together to found the first college. The Intel has granted was beyond check thousands of results to be. By 1998, nations took over the college with the establishment of its main campus on an 82-acre site near Putra Nilai. Known then as INTI College Malaysia, it was granted University College status in 2006 and reached a historic milestone on 31st May 2010 when it officially became INTI International University. INTI International University stands as the flagship campus of the INTI International University and Colleges Group institutions across Subang, Penang, and Sabah. INTI's journey has always been defined by leadership that founding chancellor laid the foundation for innovation in Malaysian higher education. This legacy continues under the guidance of INTI's second chancellor, Yang Amat Mulia Tunku Laksana Tunku Datuk Seri Utama Nakiyuddin Ibni Almarhum Tuanku Jaafar. Supporting his leadership are two distinguished pro-chancellors, Emeritus Professor Datuk Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Zawawi Ismail and Datuk Dr. Chua Hok Chu. INTI International University is home to students from over 100 countries, creating a vibrant, multicultural learning community with cutting-edge labs, collaborative classrooms, and wellness facilities that support both academic success and personal well-being. From Asia to the world, INTI's reputation continues to rise. Of only global audience and the sole Malaysian university, INTI was awarded the QS Rising Star Award. Since entering QS Asia University rankings in 2021, it now proudly ranks 170 in the region. Under the leadership of INTI's corporate group CEO, Chong Kok Wai, strong partnerships have been established with more than companies, ensuring students are equipped for real-world success. All students undertake internships and 99% of graduates gain employment in 6 months. INTI International University, we go global community of learners and researchers. From humble beginnings in brickfields to global recognition, INTI continues to redefine education, shaping lives and futures across the world.
Creativity is the heart of today and tomorrow. It accelerates innovation, entrepreneurship, and development. We are the generation of creators who are responsible for future challenges.
Well, what can I say? Not only do you have the most spectacular campus, but you are located in the most spectacular environment. So we went on Monday up into the mountains. We didn't see all the snow like this, well, not this season, but we had a really, really great time. So you're very, very lucky because this is a very beautiful place to be. Yeah. Right, that brings us to the opening ceremony and remarks. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to officially commence the International Digital Education Conference, IDEC 2025. Whoa! With the theme, Advancing the Future of Digital Education. IDEC 2025 explores how digital innovation can transform education systems to be more inclusive, equitable, and future ready. Anchored in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 4, quality education, SDG 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and SDG 17, partnerships for the goal. And what a fantastic partnership this is. The conference will address key challenges and opportunities in leveraging technology to create more accessible, engaging, and effective learning environments for all. So bear in mind during the conference that that is our goal. Before the official welcome speech, I need to say a huge thanks to so many people, actually, to all the organizing co-hosts and sponsors, starting with our physical host here in Kazakhstan, Narcos University. Thank you. In fact, thank you so much, so much. We're really proud and honored to be here, trust me. But the other institutions to which we extend our thanks, and you have to forgive me for reading the script here because there are so many, the University of Innovation Technologies, Uzbekistan, the British University in Dubai, UAE, these are all our very many partners, the University of Jyväskylä, Finland, I hope I said that right, Universidad Autónoma de Querétaro, Mexico, University Technology Mara UITM, Shah Alam, Malaysia. University Kebangsaan, Malaysia. Mie University, Japan. And Mapua University, Philippines. Big round of applause to all of you guys. I've been practicing these names, but forgive me if I say any of them wrong. And we'd also like to acknowledge Bilingual Publishing Group, who are our Scopus Q2 official publishing partner. So thank you very, very much to them. As you can see, it's a really, truly international event with collaboration from so many institutions from so many different countries. So we should be really proud of this event. Let's really applaud ourselves. Without further ado, I'm honored to invite the Pro Vice Chancellor at INTI International University, Professor Dr. Wong Ling Xing, to officially deliver the welcoming speech. Let's welcome him to the stage. Come, come, come.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan Bryce, for the introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Especially mention to our respected provost, Narcotics University, Ellen Shulavos, Dr. Zana, Vice President for Science and Commercialization, Narcotics University, Professor Cheng, Director of Global Ranking and Institutional Advancement Center, INTI International University, Dr. Ng and Dr. Chu, Director of International Relations and Collaboration, INTI International University, academicians, students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to International Digital Education Conference IDEC 2025. And welcome to Narcotics University. It is my great honor and great pleasure to be here, standing in a great country, right, and standing in a very beautiful campus today to address my welcoming speech to everyone. This is my first speech in Kazakhstan, and I think it won't be my last. I will come again. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this year we put our theme as advancing the future of digital education. Ladies and gentlemen, this theme is extremely important and it has never been more critical as we navigate into fourth industry revolution. The transformation of our education system is not merely an option now. It is an imperative. I still remember many years ago when I was in a primary school, we are using green board, not the white, not the black board. Black board is even for longer time. We use the green board. And then later on, we chalk and talk, right? Then later on, we move into slides, all right, OHP slides. And then we come out with a desktop, and then we'll introduce to PowerPoint. I think not many of us that time, not many teachers know how to use it, right? Then after that, we move on. Then I think starting 2000, I think, maybe 1995, all right? Then the transformation get faster and faster and faster. Then we start to have an online education management system, and then we comes to from the computer base, we go to the laptop, to the iPad, all right? And then we move into mobile phone, all right? And today, I think today we have the opportunity to see yesterday, okay, I think during the pre-conference, all right, we have the virtual reality, all right, type of education, right? So our world is keep changing. So if we not trying to catch up, all right, we will be losing the attention of younger generation. And if we lose the attention, we will bring the education to a failure. So today we are not going to let that happen. So that's why we are here, right? Give ourselves a round of applause. So ladies and gentlemen, by stating all the challenges that we have today, I know we have students today. Actually, it's good for you to know because one day you might be a teacher as well, right? So the challenges that we face today in education are complex and it cannot be solved in isolation. So that's why in INTI International University, while we drive the excellence in education, we want to work out from our comfort zones and then to be with the world, right? Together in the community, we learn from our neighbors in country, we learn from our international partners, all right, on what's happening now. Like for example, today, when we come to Narcotics University, we get the insight on how the university can be in what we can see today. Right. So I'm very happy. We're very happy. Right. So ladies and gentlemen, I wish to take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude first to the organizing committee from the both INTI International University and Narcotics University for their visionary leadership and hospitality in hosting this premier event. Your hard work has laid the foundation for a successful and memorable conference, and definitely it gives us more confidence to move forward for IDEC 2026 next year, right? So, and also I wish to express my gratitude to our distinguished keynote speakers. Thank you for your willingness, okay, on the front row. Thank you for your willingness to share your experience, right? It is very important for us to learn from all of you. And of course, sincere and gratitude to all our presenters, participants, especially all our students coming early morning today. Okay, you are the reason that we are organizing this conference. We learn from each other, we interact, and we grow, all right, together. So I'm confident that our conference will be filled with stimulating discussion, fruitful exchange, and transformative learning. May this conference inspire all of us here, okay, to return to our institution, no matter where we come from, with new energies, new ideas, and connection that will advance the future of digital education in our respective community. I wish everyone have a nice day, have a happy conference, and have a wonderful time. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very, very much, Prof. Wong. It's always good to hear your inspiring words, which set the tone for the rest of IDEC 2025. Next, I'm truly honored to invite Mr. Yerlon Shulanov, Provost of Narcos University, to deliver the official opening address for IDEC 2025. So let's give a warm welcome as we invite Yerlon Shulanov to the stage.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak now. Good morning, dear colleagues, dear friends, dear guests. I see here in the room many sleepy faces. We know that the whole city yesterday were trying to support our Almaty team, who was really fighting with the world-known team, the Real Madrid. This was our first experience of our team playing and holding the national reputation. So thank you for the loyal fans of the Kairat and citizens of Almaty. Second, what I want to tell you is that today, October 1, is not a usual day. Of course, we are opening this great conference, but on the same time, this is a very important day for the whole higher education system, because this day we celebrate the Higher Education Professionals Day. So this is our professional holiday today. This is a very traditional, very warm tradition in October, when the parents and their children, they are coming to their schools, colleges, and universities with the flowers and congratulating their teachers with this professional day. This tradition is for a long time very important for the whole country, because some of us, we are the students, we are the parents of the students, or someone has students or learners in their families. So allow me to use this tribune to celebrate more than 40,000 of the professionals in Kazakhstan who are working in the higher education system, and also the professionals who are working in your countries. Құрметті біздің оқытушылық құрамы, уважаемые коллеги, уважаемые члены нашего профессорско-преподавательского состава, разрешите вас поздравить сегодня с нашим большим традиционным праздником, Днем работника высшего образования, с Днем учителя, как мы его праздновали раньше. Это большое и важное мероприятие для нас. Все мы работаем в этой большой системе. У кого-то здесь дети работают, кто-то сам преподает, у кого-то в семье есть люди, кто работает в системе. Разрешите от лица руководства университета очень тепло вас поздравить с этим большим и важным днем. Dear colleagues, dear distinguished guests, representative of international universities, researchers and students, on behalf of Narcos University, I'm pleased to welcome you to the International Conference of Digital Education IDEC 2025. So this is a very important and international academic platform dedicated for the future of digital education. For Narcos universities, for the last years, we are spending a special attention for the providing such big international research events. We are delighted to be a part of the global gathering where educators, researchers, and practitioners come together to inspire each other, exchange groundbreaking ideas, and build partnerships that will define the future of digital education and education in the digital world. So the theme of today's conference is advancing the future of digital education. This is directly linked to key UN Sustainable Development Goals, as the previous my colleague also mentioned about this. Here in my speech was supposed to be a big part of text about importance and disruptive nature of digital technologies, but I will not do that because in the program we have more than 40 remarkable presentations today, and I think that the professionals will tell much better than me about the future of the digital world. I want to thank, on behalf of Narcos University, the organizers, the INTI University, International University, and their big delegation that spent so many time for trip to Kazakhstan. It was not easy, I know. Special thanks for the speakers and the presentators for today's event from many countries. Thank you for the students who are also supporting such big events in our university. We know that INTI, our colleagues, is the one of the Malaysia's leading university, renowned for its innovative educational programs and its focus on digital education. We truly appreciate the contribution of all participants and experts who make this conference possible. Today we have gathered to discuss modern approaches and innovative digital solutions that shape inclusive, sustainable, and accessible education ecosystems. I'm confident that the discussions and exchange of the experience will yield practical results, serve as the basis for new projects and strengthen partnerships. I wish all participants inspiring ideas, successful presentations, and fruitful work. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yerlan. And I'd like to take, again, this opportunity to thank you for physically hosting IDEC 2025 in this beautiful place. I was speaking to a member of your team yesterday, and he said, for Real Madrid to come here and play against Almaty is a real honor and a real challenge. And he said to me, if we don't lose by more than 5 goals, 5-0, we can hold our head up. So I believe the score is 5-0. You can be proud and hold your head up because this is Real Madrid. So okay, we'd like to do a photo session now. We've got all our amazing photographers here, nipping around the hall, snapping here and there. I was going to ask everybody at the back to come to the front, but the hall is full, so that's redundant. We just want to make sure that everybody is covered in the photo. We don't have a lot of time for this session, so we'd like to be brief. Over to the photographers. I'm not sure how you're going to manage the photo session. A translator? So we'd like to have a photo of the whole hall. Are we waiting for an additional photographer to come, I understand, and to take a photo? There's only one seat here, so I can, okay, Jonathan will sit here. Okay. Where's our photographer? I can. I don't want this camera's not used. I can't block this camera. I can't block this one. Okay. Whoops. What? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Done? All done. Look at you all, happy, smiling faces. You all look beautiful. You all look beautiful. Okay, what's the time? We're not too far behind, considering there was a slight delay. So we've managed to catch up, which is really, really excellent. Are we all sorted? Right. We would like to proceed to the first of our plenary speakers. So we're honoured to welcome a distinguished lineup of experts today who will be sharing their valuable insights with us. So let's begin by introducing our first plenary speaker, Dr. Christophe Fenyvesi, Senior Researcher of STEAM, Learning and Contemporary Culture Studies, Finnish Institute for Educational Research Agora, University of Jyväskylä, Finland. You have to wait one moment. You're a bit premature because your list of accomplishments, I'm just going to try and read out, but actually it's difficult to know how to introduce you because your list of accomplishments is very long. So in brief, he holds... Oh, you don't get to escape that easily, I'm sorry. He holds adjunct, associate and visiting professorships at a number of universities, is assistant to the UNESCO Chair on Digital Platforms for Transforming Economies at Lappeenranta University of Technology in Finland. And for a fuller list of his profile, please refer to the online website. Okay. But in the meantime, let's give a very warm welcome to Dr. Christophe. Please come to the stage.
Thank you so much
It's
for the very warm welcome. Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
slight honor.
You know, I wasn't meant to be unpolite, but I tried to avoid this long intro because we are short on time. And as Professor Wong, thank you. Professor Wong reminded us the acceleration of technology. I think we need to be also rapid in this conference to share our thoughts with each other. Maybe I will receive slides in a moment. However, I would like to, yes, thank you. I would like to grab this opportunity to say a big thanks and show my appreciation for the organizers. Yeah, okay. I'm happy to use even more minutes to show my appreciation for, first of all, INTI University, which opened the door for gateway for all of us, for Malaysian and wider cooperation. And I think it shows the power of this commitment that they host their international conferences through partnerships with co-hosting with other universities. So this is the example, very fine example of this professional thinking about not only to be ambitious, but sharing the ambition with other ambitious players from the field. And when I mention players, of course, referring to the yesterday's sports event, which Almaty hosted, I think not many universities would have been open to host a conference together with this very remarkable event. I think like was more than 100,000 tickets been sold to this huge match. So it was a really huge, not only national, but I would say like a global event taking place. And in Finland, we say that together we are more, right? Together we are more. I think this is what we need to consider, especially in this turbulent time when competition can really take over and can run against creativity, can run against possibility thinking. However, education should be about possibility practices, opening new possibilities for not only next generation, but also for our aging society. So many changes are ahead. So in my talk, I would like to especially focus on these various kind of challenges, that how digital transformation on the one hand boosting this acceleration, but on the other hand it's also growing maybe the digital divide as well. So accessibility is a key question. And when we talk about accessibility, we need to talk about skills and competencies, which are basically the most valuable capitals, most valuable capacities for our economies as well, but also for our human flourishing, if I can use this word, from convergence education framework. So yesterday we had a workshop about convergence education and human flourishing together with Professor Hong was in focus yesterday. So for human flourishing, the technology needs to be not a goal in itself, because we talk about not technological flourishing, but human flourishing. Technology must be a tool to enhance this flourishing process. So that's why we can talk about upskilling and also augmenting, expanding our skills and competencies. So this talk is meant to be about this kind of connections. So I prepared for you like almost 100 slides. However, I can also talk even without slides about this topic. So what we can see nowadays, especially in our research group, so I come from the Finnish Institute for Education Research, and we established our research lab. It's called the Innovative Learning Environments. And when we conceptualized that what we are doing and what's this group I meant to lead, it was very important to take very seriously all these words like innovative learning environment. And when it comes to environment, of course, we are in a fantastic new building. This is a new venue for learning. This is a new physical environment. The master of ceremony reminded that he needed to, look around a little bit to get the eye contact with all the participants here. So there is the physical environment which determine our learning process. But there is also the social, emotional environment, right? So we are learning in a community, which is also very much important, impactful on our learning. But when we talk about environments, we also talk about digital environments nowadays, right? So how this whole components comes together in this complexity. And of course, when we mention environment, we cannot forget about our natural environment. So Finland is really keen to keep this contact to the realities of the nature. That's what we call phenomenon-based learning as a very important source for learning experiences, to build learning experience. Also, this is where learning by doing from Finland is coming from. And also, this reminds us that sustainability shouldn't be just a buzzword, right? It's like we use this saying in Finland, like green growth. But when you think about green growth, where to grow more, right? So there are the limits, what you cannot grown actually. So even this green growth is a very tricky concept what we need to think about with criticism. So we have our responsibility. We can call it even planetary responsibility, and that's how we can also talk about planetary well-being. So when we see these technologies, how these are really rely on a huge technological resources and huge power resources, we need to take this planetary responsibility very critical. So you can see some pictures from our green campus. It's not a unique thing to say that we are also on a bank of a shore of a lake, because Finland is a country of 188,000 lakes. And you can also see where our institute is located. So we run most of the OECD and other kind of surveys. So we are the ones who collect first the data from Finland. This is my research team. Each of us run 3-4 different projects. You could see that it's a multicultural team, and my own expertise is like STEAM education. So I open some window for you to see what's written there. So STEAM as also combining different subjects. But what is this combination for? So as many learners, as many learning goals, so we try to focus on well-being throughout learning, and also how to bring together different kind of creativities in the learning process. That's why we also started our STEAM organization experience workshop, which also try to bring these approaches into international cooperations. So you are warmly welcome to visit us also in Finland to learn together with our students, with our teachers in Finland. So there are many opportunities to join forces. And this is where I would like to start, that we see this bombastic appearance of generative AI models. This is actually OpenAI is just one model from the many. So we can really take seriously that how this algorithmic age is really taking over of all fields of life, and how it can open also this kind of new opportunities. So how what kind of decisions we make as higher education organizations or training organizations, what our relation to this one certain single model, but we could talk about many of them. This really will influence our future also as a higher education or a training organization. So my question that what will be that university which go even in front of Oxford, Cambridge, all these heroes which we try to learn from, but using this kind of emerging technology, because this is also an opportunity opened here. We have seen this opportunity like communities in like Rwanda. You don't have the road system, so why don't you use drones to deliver packages? We have seen it in China, that how the bullet train network is really come over this kind of challenges of being in a huge country. We have seen the example of this in Kenya, but just to not only show you the very productive and peaceful side of this adaptive technologies, not only the bright side. Military is also using this. Adaptation is something as a force, strategic force. We have seen this kind of implants. This is very old school technology, actually, what I show here, which helps to overcome the challenges of different time zones and being deployed anytime, anywhere. So this is a very frightening technology, actually. But as I told, it's a very old school thinking I think that they need to implant something in the body, but I think even more important and more potential is what's happening in your mind, how you can use your mind to be adaptive and to have augmented through your mindset. So this is the word augmentability, what I would like to promote today. So we talk about how these emerging technologies can augment our human capacities, how it can make us even more human flourishing, not inhuman. I would like to see technology which makes us even more planetary responsible, even more capable to contribute to the good, for common good, for humanity. So this is these augmented capacities, augmented skills, augmented competencies, which I would like to focus on. So we can see this very new curves that how we can make distinction between those players which just taking the results of this technology instead of using it for human enhancement. And there are many questions. Does it exist? Is it independent from the current skill set? Are we talking about a new skill, or is it just a combination of skills what we already know? But anyway, education should change, and education should face with this productive opportunity here. So in order to have a meaningful position in front of these really massive opportunities, to have our human capacities also preserved, our capabilities, we need to talk about agency. We need to understand agency even more than before. We need to see that agency is always situated, is always culturally in community developed. It's a social construct. This is what we need to build together, like sociability as well, in order to use this kind of opportunity. So we need to have agency established as a meta capability in the education. So this is really the key to reflection and also make informed decisions to adapt new challenges, and also this search for the ethical approaches and ethical position towards these opportunities, and keeping the creative control, right? This is another critical aspect. And here we can also put next to agency augmentability as another meta competence. This is totally new. This is something what we are all explorers together. So, and we universities, higher education institutes, very important to be clear about what are the graduate attributes. What are those skills and competence sets, what we expect our graduates are bringing into the society? So this enhancement of the graduate attributes, this is what's the opportunity, what we can grasp through being very careful and also thinking critically about agency, augmentability within constraints. We also need to see the limitations. We also need to see the risk of this kind of technological promises. We cannot just exchange our agency to be too reliant and to grow the inequity throughout this technology, or over-reliance, or the opacity of these technologies. So science needs transparency, and when we see that many of these technologies are operating as black boxes, simply it goes against the scientific thinking as we were teaching it so long time. So, okay, to close this session, I have a game for you, okay? I'm not promising that it's gonna be a happy game, but anyway, it's a game. I will show you 3 images. The person who tell me what is on the pictures will win one of our new book, okay? This is about how to teach recycling in classrooms. Also, there is a chapter about Finnish classrooms. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Thank you. Okay. Picture number 1, 2, 3. So, any guesses? Be quick because I will run out of time and you will lose my session at all. Okay? So, 3 pillars, okay? Power station, okay. Yes. Yes. These are power stations for what? Actually, to boost this technological change. Microsoft Power Station, if you use Windows or this technology, and this is Amazon. If you use any cloud services, you've been supported by this. And actually, the dangerous thing is not only here, but this is the data center, which needs a lot of energy. And we know that this is not enough, what this energy is produced here. It's just the beginning. And this is a modular power plant, which will be already have a contract to be deployed also around UK. So, and I'm not against of nuclear energy. This is not the talk about that, but to be aware of the energy consumption. So when we press the key with the OpenAI, we need to be aware that what is the quantity between when we pressed the key like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and what we are doing now. And there is another interesting thing to think about educational excellence. So when we think about those countries which are like on the top of PISA, for example, we can also find those societies which are the largest carbon dioxide producers in our world. There is the country overshot day. So this is the day which shows that if the whole planet would live like a single country, how fast we would run out of all energy resource what is available for that year. So you can see my beloved Finland is really in the front of this list, together with many other admired educational systems. So I'm not telling that anything wrong even with that book which I gave about sustainability education, but I would like to call you to think critically also about educational excellence, that what are these scores based on and how many more well-being aspects we need to consider. Joyful learning is very important for lifelong learning. You need to love to learn. This is the key for our whole society. School cannot be like a venue when you learn how to cheat, how to go beyond the rules. School must be the framework, the picture, the experience for a better society, isn't it? And when you think about joyful learning, you must also consider these many different aspects of well-being, and you must think critically, whatever is the technological development, about the planetary well-being components, and you need to take into account all of these well-being factors. I have a good news that all of these are already taken account because we just collected those well-being concepts with my colleagues, which are most used in current educational papers. But I think also our measurements, our output thinking should be more changed towards the process. We need to look into the schools. We need to look into the learning processes more carefully, and we need to value those teachers, those people who bring more joy, more well-being in school, and those technologies which can contribute to this, not growing the techno stress, not growing the digital divide, not growing that kind of digital well-being related aspects, but really to bring forth this joyful learning experience for all. Okay, thanks a lot. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I would have many more slides to show you, but maybe in the next conference I will continue. And thanks a lot for your kindness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Christoph. It's actually amazing. There are so many things that we could pick up on here, but we don't have time. And obviously, I don't want to repeat what you've said, but we think about, thank you very much. We think about the how good for the environment technology is, because we're saving paper and we're saving on trees. But actually, it's only really recently, I think, that we've started to explore the huge power resources that this technology consumes and how that also may be affecting the environment. So I really appreciate your speech. So thank you very, very much. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of us, actually. Excellent speech. Okay, so we come to the part now where we break up for our respective parallel sessions, which are all in separate venues. Hopefully, you've made a note of your track, the one for which you've registered. I'm going to read out the titles of the tracks with the names of the track chairs. As I do so, would the track chairs please stand up to identify yourselves so everybody knows who to follow? So track 1 is online distance learning, led by Anne Tingnam. Well, have they already gone to their venues? Okay, so track 2, artificial intelligence in education, led by Dr. Rachel Tan. Dr. Rachel actually is here beside me. Track 3, digital pedagogy, led by Dr. Kamuta. Okay, Dr. Kamuta Rahman is here. Inclusive education, track 4, led by Dr. Ung Muluan, who's over here. And track 5, data analysis, led by Associate Professor Dr. Yershat. So these are the venues. These are all still current, yes? Excellent. So we've got student helpers available to lead you to your respective venues, just in case you get lost. So try and find an usher to take you to your track and enjoy the session. Before you leave, lunch will commence from around about 11:45, okay? So we've got just under 2 hours. In the track hall. Lunchbox. Okay, lunchbox in... okay, all right, so it's in room 109 on the first floor in the main building. Lunch is only for the paper presenters with lunch coupons, which you should have received during your registration. We'll reconvene here in the leadership room for our second plenary session at 1 p.m. So enjoy your lunch, but do remember to be here at 1 o'clock, because it can be disruptive for other people to come in while the sessions have already started. For our virtual participants, we'll see you back here at 1 o'clock. All right, enjoy your lunch, enjoy your sessions. Thank you very much. Okay, there's a slight change of running order. So we're going to go with our next speaker now. It is Professor Dr. Lithia Guevara Hernandez from Universidad Autónoma de Querétaro, Mexico. Prof. Lithia is a social anthropologist with over 10 years of teaching experience and has been a full-time research professor for the last 5 years. Her experience in social research focuses on migration, rural development, interculturality, identity, gender, and gender violence. That's quite a portfolio of interests. Sadly, she is unable to be present with us here in person due to the time difference between us and Mexico, but she has kindly recorded her presentation for us. Although she's not physically here now, Let's still give her a warm welcome as she shares her topic in the recording. Together. Okay, let's start the video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ilita Guevara. I am a social anthropologist. I'm from Mexico. I'm a professor at the University of Querétaro. And today is a pleasure for me being here with you at the International Digital Educational Conference 2025. First of all, I want to thank to Dr. Kumata Rahman and Dr. Noor Siafiha for the invitation to this conference. The name of the presentation is Centering Voices of the Margins, Interculturality, Gender, and Equity, and the Future of Digital Education. Our agenda for today included cultural and indigenous age, challenge of the education and anthropologist and feminist perspective, the future of education, democratizing education, and the conclusions. We live in a digital age. From cell phones to communication to AI, our lives are marked by our relationship with technology. Every day we need to be communicating and in touch with people that is in different space. And one of the advantages of that is that communication has changed the way we perceive time and space. In the past, when we tried to communicate with a friend that was out of the country, we need to write a letter and wait until the letter gets to the destination. Today, if we are out of town or we are not in the same space than our friends, all we need to do is send a message by one of the social media, and the message will be there with them in seconds. Nonetheless, the digital era is not experienced identically by all individuals. When we talk about education, the gaps are something we should be concerned about. How we perceive the culture and the digital age. As a social beings, we interpret life from our culture, which shapes our perspective and values. We understand culture as the way of every society to behave, to understand the world, and to relate with each other. These values and these gonna shape how we use and relate to technology in this matter. Furthermore, the cultural background is marked by the space we live in, including access or lack to opportunities. What do we mean by that? Different lifestyles equal different opportunities for development, particularly when we talk about technology. We have then in 2022 estimated that 55% of the world population will concentrate in the cities. In Mexico, in 2024, 79 in every 100 people live in the cities. What we consider in these numbers, what we're trying to controlize is that when you live in a city, most likely you're gonna have access to different media of communication, including internet. Many rural areas in Mexico are still without electricity or without internet access, where that means it's gonna be a gap in between how we relate with technology. Once access to the education, healthcare, and communication is determined by the place of residence, whether that be in the countryside or in the city. Currently, 44% of the world's population lives in poverty, earning $6.65 US per day. Around 700 million people live on less than $2.50 a day, the extreme poverty line. Extreme poverty remains concentrated in parts of sub-Saharan Africa, fragile in conflict-affected areas, and in rural regions. All these gonna shape the population in different ways, and culturally, they're gonna understand life in a different way than we do. The culture gives us a sense of belonging to a place. They're gonna make us analyze everything from a different perspective. And this gonna affect the way we relate with technology. Moreover, depending on the place from which we connect, it will be what we search for on the web and what we do with the information we obtain. Right now, millions of people in the world are searching in the internet for answers, whether it is for a recipe they want to cook and they didn't know about it, whether it's about politics, they want to know what is happening in the world, or most likely they're just looking for the latest trend in the TikTok, or the latest trends of music, or what is the most popular movie. That means then culture plays an important role in how we incorporate what we see on the internet into our daily lives. The way we're gonna receive the information gonna be shaped by who we are, where we grow up, what is our age group, what is our background, whether we have certain type of education, whether we've been traveling, whether we are women or men. All these characteristics of a being is going to make a difference in how we relate with the internet. We have to add to this ethnicity, race, religion, and geography will all influence the opportunities and equalities on individual experience. Saying this means then not only we're going to see different things in internet, the way we're going to see things going to be shaped by the way we live and the opportunities that we have. What are some of the challenges of the EdTech from the anthropological and feminist perspective? We need to consider that digitalization has transformed education. But to understand the impact of this, we have to consider the challenge. These challenges are presented by inequalities. Some of those inequalities are internet and access to technology, gender gaps in education, marginalization and poverty, and development and difference between rural areas and cities, how we already talked about it. The internet access. The statistic says that 62% of the world populations have internet access. However, these figures change significantly when we consider high income and developing countries. We also need to consider the type of equipment they use for navigation, the speed of the connection, and whether they live in areas with no restrictions or with some of them. What I want to say with this is the experience we're going to have with the internet and with the web is going to vary from whether we have a cell phone or a computer or a personal laptop or a tablet. What we're going to see going to be different, and when we can do with that equipment, it's going to be different too. Even though everyday technology is advanced and most cell phones can do many things the same way than a computer, if I have a cell phone as my main connection to the world, most likely it's going to be things that I cannot do because typing is going to be more difficult in the cell phone. Some applications cannot work at the same time simultaneously. So that means I'm going to be missing some of the experience of the internet. And it's all kind of interesting areas around the use of the internet. Then where they're going to mark and going to make the difference is the inequalities that historically people had. Meaning it's not the internet that make the inequalities. The internet is just remarking those inequalities that some people have. We talk about two gender gaps. Gender roles and stereotypes have shaped the organization of society, with women traditionally being placed in the private sphere and men in the public sphere. In developing countries, women have more limited access to education, particularly in terms of gender. Digital education can provide an opportunity for those who will otherwise be unable to attend to school. Men and women normally have different access to education, That is the way the society is being organized, placing women as caregivers in most of the places, meaning that the opportunity is going to be around whether they have the possibility to go to school, whether they have the money, and in what kind of family they grow up. When they grow up in a family that is in poverty and have too many members, most likely the women going to be incorporated as a caregivers in a very early age. That means their opportunities to be educated going to be limited. For example, in Mexico, in more rural areas, women don't go after the 6th grade. And the reason for that is the transportation is not that easy in some rural areas. That means then to go to the junior high school, they're going to have to walk for 30 or 40 minutes, most likely in the dark. And we live in a world where women and men are different in terms of safety. So a family will let a kid go if it's a boy, because they think he's going to be okay walking for 40 minutes in the dark. But if it's a girl, they're going to be more concerned about her safety. So that's going to be, she doesn't have the opportunity to go to the school. And those gender gaps are in every area of the society, talking about education first, healthcare. From education, we're going to see a difference in the labor space, because if women don't have enough education, they're going to be able to access to certain types of jobs. And this is going to mark everything in their life. And this difference is going to be more obvious when we talk about these topics, whether they can be accessed to a certain type of education or not. I consider the digital education can be an opportunity, but only if those women have access to internet and to some kind of equipment where they actually can be part of a program. Then we have marginalization and poverty. Poverty means that people are denied access to education or limited, as I said before. Not everybody has the same opportunity to go to school. This is especially true when we think about is digitalization. If people don't have access in the early age to education, and a quality one, where they can experience the web and they can experience what they can do with the internet, that means in the future, they're going to have more problems to relate with it. They cannot see it the same than somebody who grew up with every opportunity to be part of it. The world average number of years of schooling as a human capital is 8.7 years. And in 2020, in Mexico, the average level of schooling for men aged 15 and over was 9.8. And for women of the same age, it was 9.6. Again, these numbers are the media, meaning it's just in the general population. But in Mexico, when we talk about certain characteristics, for example, identity, indigenous people get less education than regular people because of the areas they are living, because they don't speak Spanish, some of them, because they don't have many opportunities. So, for example, the state of Chiapas, they concentrate most of the indigenous population, has a level of education for men is only 5.6 years, and for women is 3.2. That means that women don't gonna have the opportunity to get into the digital world, at least not in the education way. What is the future of EdTech and democratizing education? One of the big challenges of this type of education is an opportunity for everybody to access to quality education from wherever they are placed, without the need of displace themselves and have to pay transportation, rent, food, otherwhere where maybe it's not possible for the family. However, for this to be possible, we need to understand that the first step is for everybody to have access to quality and basic education. If the root of the tree is not settled, it's not gonna grow. If it doesn't have water, it's not gonna grow. Same happened with humans. If we have the seed and we are not creating environment where everybody can access to education, we're gonna still seeing those gaps. That means that education cannot be for everyone and don't have the same quality. We have to eliminate gender gaps in education. That means that we need to give the opportunity to women to go to school, the same than men. In Mexico, for example, we have an incentive for this to happen. That is why we see these numbers now. In the past, the gap between men and women used to be bigger. But since the last 2 decades, maybe 3, they've been impulsing women education through scholarships. They are more for, it's a bigger quantity for women than for men, and they prioritize women over men, trying to make this gap more equal. We need to improve internet access, particularly in rural areas. The connection in many areas in Mexico, and I believe in the world, are not settled yet. They don't have the technology to get the internet there with the speed, then they can actually use it for education. And one other challenge then the future of EdTech is facing is digital training for teachers. We have to consider then for most parts of the world, the digital education training started when the pandemic hit the world. Is when actually most people start going into the educational training in the web. Before that, even though since 2008, we have these MOOCs, massive open classes for everybody on the internet, the research said then those particular courses were not very successful because they proved that most of them were access for people who already have university education, for people who already have all the opportunities. So it wasn't really as it was planned before. It was not for people who didn't have opportunity to go to college to get it because of these problems that we are mentioned. So if we want the digital education advanced, we need professionals, we need the teachers to be trained in a digital way. But we need to do that in every area, not only the cities, we need to have the consideration of other spaces and how we can give them the opportunity to be part of this. If this is not happening, this will be not possible because we still have the same people being lagging behind and this kind of opportunities. Some conclusions. I believe the digital age allows us to change the way we understand education. You know, the possibility of me being, even I'm not physically with you, you know, from the distance, the possibility of everybody in the world be listening to a conference when they don't have the opportunity to physically be there, change the way we think about education. We can interconnect and we can make networking with people all over the world through education and through different programs that are available there. But this will only be possible if we manage to reduce inequalities between rural areas and cities, between women and men, and between marginalized people. A new way of education can be possible when we consider cultural, racial, gender differences, which help us to understand how people learn differently. One of the things that we can do to advance in there is starting to looking at education as a multicultural approach, meaning then we need to teach kids from very early age. Then everybody is different and everybody have the opportunity to understand and to approach things from a different point of view. And that is just the way the world it is. We need to be aware of the difference, because when we are, it's a possibility, then we want to engage more than knowing the difference, respecting the difference, but understanding the reach then we can acquire by engaging with other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alicia, although she can't see us live now. We've heard mention a few times this morning the digital divide, the technology gap. And I think seeing some of the images from Mexico early on in the PowerPoint, it actually really hits home. We can see that these people are disadvantaged, certainly in terms of technology, and a good deal more. Okay, because we changed order, do we have Professor Alicia now? So we continue with our original order. So I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Professor Alicia Yuldashev. He's the Vice Rector for Science, Innovation and Research, a dedicated educator in the field of technical sciences. He's authored more than 50 scientific publications in respected journals and conferences, and holds 4 patents for his inventions and utility models. Beyond his research, he's developed numerous educational works and actively contributes to projects that drive innovation and prepare the next generation of specialists. Congratulations. So please join me in welcoming Prof. Alicia.
Thank you. Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli arifdastlar, konferensiya katıluvchilari, xonimlar, mirzolar. Sizlar bilan Qozog'iston Respublikasi Olmot qalasida Narxoz universitetida ko'rishib turganimdan xursandman. Dear colleagues, conference participants, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the University of Innovation Technologies, I extend my sincere greetings to all of you and express my deep gratitude to the organizers for the opportunity to speak at this prestigious international forum. Today, digital education is not merely a trend. It is a strategic resource, a powerful tool that directly affects the competencies of states, companies, universities, and most importantly, individuals. At our university, we digital education as a key platform for shaping the global competencies of the new generation. These competencies do not only allow individuals to adapt to a rapidly changing world, but also to lead within it. This impact is significantly strengthened by the following key factors. One, government support, a catalyst for digital transformation. Let me emphasize the rapid development of digital education at the University of Innovation Technologies has been made possible thanks to the consistent and systemic support provided by the government. Nation-level programs for the digitalization of higher education have been developed and implemented. Scientific and education centers has been funded by the state, creating conditions for integration between universities and technology companies. Digital ecosystems are being established, bringing together schools, universities, industry partners, and the IT sector. To not just technology people at the center. We firmly believe that digital transformation and education should not turn into technological fetishism. At the heart of a digital university must be human being, students, teachers, and researchers. Therefore, we are developing digital ethics codes, education students on digital literacy and culture, and promoting responsible and conscious engagement with artificial intelligence, data, and virtual environments. So, 3. The future lies in collaboration. Today, digital education denotes international cooperation. No single country or university can tackle these complex challenges alone. We are open to collaboration and have already launched joint martyrs programs, scientific projects, and virtual students communities with universities across Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Dear colleagues, in the past, universities is centers of knowledge. Today, they are becoming hubs of sustainable development, digital innovation, and a new global culture. In there is political will and government support. Universities like ours can become the driving force of digital transformation in society. We invite you to collaborate, exchange experiences, and co-create educational solutions that meet the needs of both today and tomorrow. Thank you for your attention. English
Really valiant effort with the language. So we appreciate very, very, very much. Thank you for sharing with me your knowledge and experience, Prof. Alicia. Thank you, really. So we move to our panel discussion. Yes, I'm just checking always the timing now because this brings us to our panel discussion. We moved the chairs earlier because obviously this fantastic screen the view was blocked by the chairs, so apologize for that. But we really appreciate this screen. It's marvelous. But we do need to bring the chairs back. So if I could have a student helper to return the chairs, that will be wonderful. Our panel discussion is led by our moderator, Professor Dr. Cheng Wang He. Are you ready? Okay, Director of the Global Ranking and Institutional Advancement Center at INTI. So joining us for the discussion, now that we have the chairs, and please welcome them as they come to the stage to take their seats. Firstly, Professor Dr. Masanori Fukui. Welcome. Round of applause. Dr. Haida Umiera. Dr. Shafika Yaku. And Associate Professor Dr. Ung Mu Luan. Okay, please come to the stage, all of you. So we have our 5 chairs and we have our moderator. So can I leave it to you to introduce our honourable panel members? Thank you so very, very much. Prof. Cheng, is the mic over to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Yeah, you should take.
Yes. Okay. 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 First of all, a very good afternoon to everyone. Let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Prof. Dr. Cheng Wan Hee, the Director of Global Ranking and Institutional Advancement of International University. So it is a great pleasure and an honor to be able to moderate this session with all our special guests, all from all over the world, I guess. Okay, so we have from Japan and from Malaysia as well. Okay, so first of all, it is actually a great honor for this panel session, and we are really privileged to be joined today by the 4 esteemed keynote speakers, each bridging unique expertise and perspectives into our conversation. So without further ado, let me just introduce the speakers. Okay, we have, let's say, the first panelist would be Professor Masanori Fukui from Japan. Okay, he is our first panelist from Japan. Professor Fukui is currently with Iwate Prefecture University and will soon assume a professorship at Mie University. Mie. Oh, right now, Mie, okay. So his research spans across computational thinking, AI education, teacher training, and educational psychology. And he has published more than 70 papers over the past 5 years. He has also secured significant research funding in Japan and collaborates actively with scholars across Asia. Okay, so today he will be sharing his insight on proposal for developing an educational innovation model suited to the social context of Asia in the digital era. So let us welcome Dr. Professor for his sharing.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, yeah. Okay. Wait. So I want to use a slide. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Oh. Sit down. Okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Yes.
Here. Okay. Oh, okay. Next slide.
Yes.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Masanori Fukui. Call me Masa, okay? Simply. So, Masa, yeah. It's okay.
No, we don't have to block the.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's my first time to come to Kazakhstan. It's very good country, but sadly, my body is not strong. So sorry, I catch a cold. So sad. Yeah. But you know, Kazakhstan temperature is pretty much better for me, and same as Japan in November. So right now outside is getting and leaf is getting changing and very beautiful. I guess I want to go around after this conference. Okay, so today I want to talk about this proposal for developing an educational innovation model as well. A very simple to understand for you. Okay. And this is, I want to talk about these things only. Right now, my university is Mie. For Malaysia, maybe Malaysia, Indonesia, this, what is me? No, yeah, me is noodle in Bahasa Melayu. Okay, but not pronunciation is Mie. Nearby Nagoya, do you know Nagoya? No, nearby Osaka. Osaka. Okay. And then, okay. Okay. So I'm distance. I'm 49 years old. Maybe you think my face is so young, but actually 49 years old. Okay. Okay. So today topic is very easy. We sometimes imitate OECD education and Europe education, US education, something like this. But sometimes so difficult to implement. That's why culture is very different from Western one, Asian one, like this. Very easy, right? But OECD based on this one, individualism, low context cultures, high teacher autonomy, responsibility, and more. Other hand, especially Japan, China, and more. Collectivism and high context cultures based on our mother tongue. And then, teacher responsibility is so low and more. And teacher has many duties except for giving lesson and work. So very different. So especially in Japan, so how to implement OECD education? Okay, easy to understand, right? So I want to in my research I focus on these things right now. Okay. This skip. So my research is focused on future education, like inquiry-based learning, creativity education, and using AI and more. But this is just the example. I use IDEC in this presentation. Okay. This skip. Okay. Of course, IBL means inquiry-based learning. Okay, so and then inquiry-based learning is so important for students to enhance future skills like creativity, critical thinking, and more. IBL skip is question by themselves and make plan by themselves and solved by themselves repeatedly. Very easy to understand. And of course, it's so effective for students to use digital technology. Like easy to make a portfolio and more. So if to enhance IBL, it's very important to use digital technology, I guess. Okay, very easy. Okay, and then this is traditional education process IBL and more. So I don't have much time, so I skip this slide. Okay. So of course, I already said to you limitation of Western-centric education for Asia, especially China, Japan, and more. That's why cultural difference. We have a big cultural difference. Okay. This is just example. So sorry, so small character, sorry. But for example, this is Western education. This is Asia type education, right? So for example, first one, this, sorry. Okay. Class size is very different. Western type school is number students are so not big. On the other hand, in Asia, especially Indonesia, China, 45 and 50 people in one class. Very big. And more and of course, religion is different and more. So how to implement, easy to understand, right? Okay. For example, this is Malaysia, Japan. So, but Japan right now population is so big compared to Malaysia and more. And Japan, really old country, yeah, people are so old. Now, right now I'm 49 years old. Same this age. I'm average age in Japan. Okay, and more. So I said Western and Asia has a big difference, and Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, and more has also big difference, I guess. So how to implement OECD education, sometimes so hard to implement, right? Okay, and more, religion is different and more. But sorry, Shinto, maybe Shinto is not religion. Buddhism is religion. Shinto is just, how do I say, not religion, I want to say, okay, and more. Huh? Yes, right. Some type of belief. Yes, right. And more. Yes. So right now I try to do this one. Co-create Asia Inquiry Compass and more. And cultural cultural difference. And right now, I have lots of colleagues in Malaysia and Indonesia. So I want to collect the data from teachers about these things, social background and more, and something like this. Okay, so my presentation is finished. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to Professor Masanori Fukui, who reminded us that any innovation in digital education, no problem, are you right? Okay. In digital education must be grounded in social and cultural context in Asia, offering us framework for regional relevant educational models. I think we have time for one question, so I will open to the floor for one question. Anyone? Yes.
Okay. So I sorry. I have to prepare this slide, but I don't have free time. But social, power, power distance. Okay, wait, power distance. Like gender gap and like authority and more. So so hard to explain. Sorry, my English skill is not good. So including gender gap and social background, social Yes, right. Something like this. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for the question and the answer,
Yeah.
Professor Masanori. Now we will move on to our next panelist, which is Dr. Shafika Yaqub from UKM. Yes, our second panelist here from UKM. She is a faculty member of the Center of Innovation in Teaching and Learning and a member of the Empower Research Cluster at Central Queensland University. So her expertise includes global citizenship education, global competence, TESOL, and teachers' professional development. She will be speaking on digital pedagogies for plural futures, embracing multimodal learning and local knowledge systems. So let us put our hands together for her.
Right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much to our wonderful chairperson and moderator, Prof. Dr. Cheng. And thank you, everyone, for having me here today. So my name is Nur Shafika Yaqub from the National University of Malaysia or University Kebangsaan Malaysia. So I have a slide. Not that beautiful, but I hope that will engage you. Okay, one moment. So basically, yeah, we have it. All right. Okay, thank you so much. All right, got it. Let me just test. All right. So I was talking on digital pedagogies for plural futures, embracing multimodal learning and local knowledge systems. Okay. So before we move to global citizenship education, GCED, let's look at the meaning of global education first, or maybe global citizenship first. So global citizenship, as you might know, is a sense of belonging to the global community and awareness of global responsibility that we want our individuals, everyone in our society, including our future generations, to have. And from that, it's like one of the concepts of the development of societies, global citizenship. And we want this concept of global citizenship to help our individuals or our future generations to develop a sense of respect and empathy towards others, towards other nationalities. And then it comes to global education, that is to develop global competence and global citizenship among students, for example, and also among other individuals. Apart from that, why we want to have global education is because we want to understand today's modern problems, how it might be similar or different from what problems or issues that we have faced before. And also not only to understand, because we want to find solutions. We want to find the way we all of us can coexist harmoniously in this multicultural context. Okay, and then it comes to this global citizenship education or GCED. What it is the teaching and learning to become global citizens, us who can live together very peacefully on one planet, like how we are today in one room, all different races, religions, but we are trying to understand each other. We have language barriers, but we are trying to accommodate to each other's differences and similarities. And then one of the core conceptual dimensions of GCED would be the cognitive, social, emotional. That's why we have empathy. And then we have behavioral attitudes, how you accept others, how you appreciate other people, including the integration of global challenges and appropriate global citizenship education across curricula. That's why we have PISA, and then OECD, they have a plan, or they have come up with a lot of solutions, information related to global citizenship education. We have today's quality education, SDG. And those are, from my point of view, might be quite dominant to the Western perspective. And like how Prof mentioned just now, we need the Asian context. So how we can say that OECD, we take that from the Western perspective, but then we have our own as well from the Asian context. So I can relate well with Prof presentation just now. Oh, sorry, moving on. This is the example of the global citizenship education. the cognitive part, behavior, and social-emotional. Okay. And then global competence. So global competence is like, if you have GCED as the umbrella, so global competence is the part of the umbrella, which is the ability to communicate, collaborate, and engage across cultures with critical awareness. So these are this is maybe one part of the definitions. There are a lot of definitions. For example, the knowledge, skills, and attitudes of others in terms of learning intercultural in the intercultural community and interconnectedness. And then it comes to, if we want to have people, we want to develop our students with global competence, we want them to have this ability to communicate and collaborate, we must implement globally competent teaching, which is the integration of knowledge, skills, and dispositions into classroom practice. So these, under all these nice constructs or domains, there are several elements. For example, knowledge include intercultural knowledge, indigenous knowledge, because all of this, we are trying to involve today's the traditional and also today's modern knowledge. Like AI, everything will be put here. Okay. What about technology in global competence development? So we are using digital tools to enhance our students' engagement, for them to engage in our lessons, for them to also use technology to collaborate with others meaningfully, not just like use it recklessly, but we want them to use it safely, meaningfully, with ethics. Okay. So the role of technology in digital education, such as digital tools, AI-powered feedback system, virtual classroom, collaborative platforms that we try to have in our classroom. All these wonderful things that we want to engage our students with, like gamifications, game-based learning. So that is where technology has a place in our lesson today. So we want to embrace technology and AI tools critically and ethically, not just to improve our instructional delivery, but also we want to empower our students. We want to empower these future generations. We want them not to lag behind. Because, for example, people say that, oh, AI might replace human, but actually no. AI will never replace human, but humans with AI, or humans who know how to use AI, will replace humans who do not know how to use AI. Okay. All right, moving on. Global competence for digital education. Technology as our transformative tool, because we talk about global competence, it's like part of transformative learning. So technology is a tool, the transformative tool. Ethical and critical use of digital tools, and also teacher as a tech-empowered facilitators. We are the facilitators. Because why? We want our students to do project-based learning, game-based learning. So we become the facilitators, the students are the doers. Our lesson will be more student-centered. Right. This is one part of mapping global competence to SDG. For example, global competence in education, we want to help our educators, our teachers, us, ourselves, and our students, even our community, to comprehend local, global, and multicultural contexts. So we want them to investigate the world, recognize different perspectives, okay, and also communicate ideas. Not only that, to take actions, to contribute, to know what are their values and how they can contribute to the betterment of the world. Okay, when I was doing my PhD, one of my construct, because I was developing a framework in the Asian context. So one of my construct is like value all perspective. And interestingly, I got several feedbacks from the experts when I was doing my fuzzy Delphi method, experts consensus. They were saying that not all perspective should be valued. And it took me some time to realize that, oh, this is really, this is a good comment, a good feedback, because not all perspectives should be valued. But then how we want to make sure that students are learning from their perspective, that you might feel, oh, this is not a good one, but how we want them to learn without offending them. That is one of the reasons why teachers need to have global competence. so that they have the knowledge, they have the skills, they have the dispositions to help the students. So back to cognitive justice and plural epistemology. So this one is quite a mouthful. So when we talk about cognitive justice, we know that all knowledge systems, everything in the world have value and legitimacy. So we want people to learn. We want this to be an equal knowledge transfers. Okay, and then plural epistemologies, the acknowledgement of multiple ways of knowing rather than we privilege any other knowledge. It's not like one knowledge from this one side or one part of the world is dominant to the other. Okay, everything has value, and today, because of technology, we are able to learn more about other people, about other countries, and how we can infuse that into our students' learning. Right. So these are some of the basic elements or factors or maybe aspects on cognitive justice and plural epistemologies. One of it would be recognition of diverse knowledge. We recognize the different types of knowledge the students get from different people, how they learn. They have their own learning styles, their own needs. So how we can enhance that so that they can achieve their bigger potential. And then decolonizing knowledge production, interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary, as well as implications for social and environmental justice. So this is like the impacts. So how all this can help people or our students to contribute to the society or community. So now, because now we want our students to have this IR, Industrial Revolution 5.0, humans. Everything is not like we have AI, but how we can also make sure that they have the values to use AI safely and ethically. Right, culturally responsive teaching. So for example, let's say we want to create a platform for our students to communicate across different interacting mindfully. So one of it is to create a safe space. But today is not only about creating a safe space in our classroom, but we also call it as a brave space. It is a concept that you can maybe check out later, a brave space concept. So basically we provide a platform for our students to discuss and maybe talk about issues that could be sensitive outside, but we provide that platform in the classroom. No one get offended. You as someone who mediate the discussion. Okay. So we are running out of time. A quick one, multilingual inclusive. We want to promote inclusivity, equitable and quality education for all our learners because we want to have this balance, nice, harmonious in our classroom, in our community. Okay. Core construct include intercultural sensitivity, global-mindedness, self-awareness, self-identity, as well as pedagogical adaptability. So all this would be something that maybe we can think about, do more research on related to the context you are in. Okay, thank you so much. That will be it from Nur Syafiqah binti Yaakob.
Thank you so much, Dr. Syafiqah Yaakob, whose presentation is really, really insightful, reminding us on digital pedagogies that we have to embrace the plural futures, valuing multi-modal learning and integrating local knowledge systems to ensure relevance and inclusivity. One point that you made that I really find it fascinating is to embrace, and not just embrace, but to teach the younger generations or the students how to embrace it as well. So that's very important.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I think you must have questions for, so I can only allow one question. I'm so sorry due to time restriction. So yes, please.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I have only one big question for myself and probably for you too. You said that people or teachers, sorry, maybe I do not quote you right, who use AI tools will replace those who do not use it. Why do you think so?
All right, thank you so much for the question. So for me, in my opinion, because I believe that because of the advancement in technology, for example, in Malaysia, we have started using e-wallet for a lot of places, and some places they do not use cash anymore. So maybe people who do not use e-wallet, these apps or technology, they might not be able to buy things in the future because people do not accept cash. Stores do not accept cash anymore. And I think that will be like a similar concept to that kind of AI. Yeah, but AI is not only like ChatGPT or certain types of tools. There are so many things. So looking at, maybe my opinions will be looking at the different type of AI that people use today. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for the question from the audience. And thank you, Dr. Shafika. Thank you. Okay, moving on to our third presenter, which is Dr. Haida Umira Hashim from UITM. So the third panelist here from University Technology Mara, she is a dedicated researcher in technology-enhanced language learning, specializing in inclusive and innovative edtech. Dr. Haida is a co-creator of the award-winning augmented reality app called A Real Vocab for Children with Autism, and her research spans across AI, AR, VR, gamification, and special needs education. She will address the theme equitable edtech, bridging the digital divide with AI-driven solutions. So let us put our hands together for Dr. Haida.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, hi, hello, everyone. A very good afternoon. So I believe that my presentation afterwards will be pretty much related to Prof. Lithia's presentation just now. Perhaps a continuation and also pretty much related to all of us when we're talking about digital divide, okay? So moving on, okay. Now, when we talk about digital divide, we often imagine that as simple as an expression of those who have technology versus those who doesn't have technology, right? But it's actually more than that. So I'll explain to you the 3 layers of digital divide that is actually happening. So the first one is the access divide, in which when we talk about the lack of infrastructure devices or even reliable connectivity, which bridges the opportunities gotten by those who are in the urban area versus those who are in the rural area. And we also have usage divide. So this is the part where the gap happens in terms of digital skills and literacy, meaning that perhaps those who have the infrastructure, but do they really, or are they really able to benefit from it? So do they really get the use of technology in terms of the skills and literacy? And the third layer would be quality divide. So even when students are online, the learning experience may not be inclusive, adaptive, or engaging. So for example, when we had to face our movement restrictions order, so all classes will have to be conducted online. But do the students really understand and focus and be attentive during the classes or the online sessions? Are they, engaged enough during the sessions? So those are the 3 layers of digital divide that is actually happened. And we have to understand that the divide is not just about who has technology, but who benefits from it. So it's all about how do we leverage technology. Right. Now, this is where AI enters the picture. Okay, so AI can help us to personalize lesson. So it can adapt lessons to a child's pace, strength, and weaknesses. And at the same time, we could help to cater to the issue of no student is left behind because the system moves too fast. Okay, and AI can also help with automated decision making. So it can help us with our own self-paced learning, can help students to translate content instantly into multiple languages, even though we have language barriers. So what happened with us yesterday, both me and Dr. Shafika, when we were on our way to Narcos from the hotel, the Grab driver did not understand us, but he made the effort to use Google Translate. So it helps in a way, right? So it is the same concept with education. And also AI can help us with data-driven insight. So of course, we can gain a lot of information, AI-powered tutors and even write-up or academic writing, and even chatbots can help us with 24 hours learning support, even in places that where trained teachers are scarce. Even us educators, we are lacking a bit here and there. We don't know everything all at one time. So AI can help us to improve ourselves at the same time. Okay, so how do we actually ensure equity in AI-powered edtech? So the very first thing that we have to understand is that technology or equity should be affordable. So it should be accessible not only to the privileged, but to the low-income communities. So later on, you will look at some of the efforts made by both. I made the comparisons between Malaysia and Kazakhstan. You will see how do we actually help to bridge the gap. And also, technology should be inclusive, meaning that should be catering to learners with disabilities, those in rural areas and marginalized groups, which I believe now even as simple as our phone, if you were to go to the browser tab, you can see that there are the function of where, I think audio, meaning that those who are blind or having issues or disabilities, they can make use of those features. So that should be inclusive, and technology should be ethical. So this is very important. We cannot run from technology. Technology will keep on progressing and there will be more coming and more advanced. But how do we ensure to really make use of the technology wisely is to understand that us educators will need to train our students to be ethical. Even us have to be ethical, so same goes to our students. So we have to also ensure that student data is protected, algorithms are transparent, and no child is reduced to a statistic. Okay, we have to train them to be ethical with or using AI. Now, empowering for teachers, this is definitely true with the use of AI. So as what Dr. Shafika has mentioned, AI should never replace a human heart of education, but AI should be working as a tool for educators to do what they do best, which is to inspire, mentor, and guide and facilitate at the same time. So we always mistaken ourselves with, the use of technology and also leveraging technology as the platform or medium of instructions for teaching. So sometimes we just think that with a simple video is the definition of using technology, but actually there's more to it. So how do we leverage technology, or how do we leverage the videos to assist our students? So that's what we should be mindful of, right? Okay, so these are the AI possibilities that we are currently working on. I suppose we are going towards this. So offline first learning platforms that use AI to personalize content without requiring constant internet. So working towards it. Community digital learning hubs where shared devices connect students to AI-driven resources. And partnerships between governments, NGOs, and technology providers that focus on sustainable digital inclusion. So inclusivity to help bridge the gap. Now, I'll share with you some of the projects or some of the efforts by our Ministry of Education or Malaysia. So we do have the DELIMA, which is the Digital Educational Learning Initiative by the Ministry of Education, which is a national platform integrating Google, Microsoft, and Apple tools. It is widely used during the pandemic for online learning, okay, and helps to cater to personalization. And at the same time, we also have IDEC TV, which is a nationwide education TV channel for students without the internet. So they can always watch TV even without Wi-Fi. So it helps to ensure broad access to lessons and big potential AI subtitles and adaptive content with regards to the project. We also have e-class by Maxis, which is an after-school digital learning for rural and undeserved students. So for rural area students, this was a project given by Maxis, which includes gamification and competitions. So there was a use of chatbots and analytics to track progresses. So Maxis team could always track the students' progress each day. And we also have YTL Foundation, which is a learn from home project, which I believe a free Wi-Fi or connection or broadband was given. So free data and digital resources for B40 are low-income families in Malaysia. So there are online lessons, notes, and assessments given for that purpose. We also have MDEC's My Digital Maker movement, which focuses more on coding because of the evolvement of AI and technology. Okay, so we do have that to prepare students for Industry 4.0, which introduces AI, robotics, and IoT exposure. So we also have this MCMC, basically the same concept. And so this is what the Malaysia is going for towards embracing technology and AI. So I've also made some homework. I hope this is true. Let me know if some wrong information. Kazakhstan is opting for Kazakhstan Kalina Foundation project, teacher training nationwide, right? Free AI training, and also AI as mandatory university discipline in universities. They have employed this. And last one is Kazakhstan to train 1 million citizens in AI skills over 5 years, which was released in April 2025. So this is what's going on. So I believe that, so we also have this in Kazakhstan, okay, and all the apps that can help to translate Kazakh, Russian, and English, okay? All right, so I believe that these are not futuristic ideas because we could understand technology is happening regardless. But of course, the way we handle and the way we embrace technology would be how we cater to address the digital divide. All right, okay. All right, ensuring equity, last one. The stakeholders, I believe policymakers who play the biggest role, educators, technologies, and also the communities that embrace lifelong learning. Just like what Dr. Shafika mentioned, we have to embrace it regardless. We still have to use technology nowadays, right? Yep, okay, that is all from me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Haida, for highlighting the importance of equitable edtech solutions, showing us how AI and digital tools can bridge divides and open opportunities to learners with diverse needs. Okay, so I'm going to open to the floor for one question. Anyone? Yes.
It was really exciting to learn how education is developing in your country, in Malaysia. I mean, what are you doing in this field? And also, I enjoyed the last slides when you compared, or maybe just informed, compared, I mean, Kazakhstan, and that's true that you have taken information about education and what is being done in Kazakhstan as well. And yeah, that's true. Education should be available for all citizens. It doesn't matter, I mean, race or nationality or skills or age, etc. And yeah, that's really nice to have. Maybe with the help of AI also, it will be a tool to help and to make it available, accessible. Thank you. Thank you.
I think that we can say that the future is today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haida. Okay, now I would like to introduce our last panelist, last but not least, our Associate Professor, Dr. Emil Luan from INTI International University. So Dr. Ng has an extensive background in education, journalism, and media studies, and previously served as the Dean of the Faculty of Education and Liberal Arts at INTI. So she has also held senior positions in media, including head of Southeast Asia regional news for Sinchu Daily. Okay, actively involved in the Malaysian Social Sciences Association. She also serves as a program assessor for the Malaysian Qualifications Agency. So today she will share her perspective on teachers of tomorrow, leading change in a digital and sustainable world. So let us put our hands together for her.
Thank you very much, my colleague, Professor Dr. Cheng. Okay, this is a very good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, fellow educators, and esteemed guests. So we talk about education technology, we talk about global citizenship education. So let's come back to earth. We are teachers, we are educators, right? Okay, let me just begin with a very simple but powerful question. What kind of teachers do we need for a world where artificial intelligence, climate change, and cultural diversity shape every decision we make? I think we have to ask ourselves in this AI era, in this so-called global citizen education era. This is not just rhetoric, it is the reality we are living today. Education is no longer simply about digital adoption. It is about sustainability, equity, and above all, our shared human values. Teachers are no longer just transmitters of knowledge. We are leaders of change. Now, let me bring you to the current realities in education. The reality is that education systems are already undergoing dramatic transformation. First, let me move back again. Okay, first, the digital shift. Since the pandemic, classrooms have moved rapidly into hybrid and AI-supported models. I think Dr. Haida has shared something just now, what happened in Malaysia. And in Malaysia, the Teachers 4.0 digital curriculums trains teachers to embed digital citizenship in every subject. And in Singapore, there is a campaign called SURE, Sure, by the National Library Board, which equips their students with the ability to source, understand, research, and evaluate, crucial for navigating today's information chaos. Then I move to what is the next reality, sustainability. Education for Sustainable Development embedded in UNESCO's SDG 4 is now part of many curricula. I believe in your country, in my countries, in some countries from our participants today, we are asked to actually embed the SDG goals in our teaching, our daily teaching and our subject. I give you an example over here in Delhi. School run out up to 20 sustainability projects annually, from tree planting to waste management. In Virginia, Discovery Elementary operates as a net zero energy school. Students use live energy dashboards to learn fraction while understanding renewable energy. Of course, challenges remain. For example, the digital divide that discussed by my colleagues just now, a skill gap between among teachers, issue related to ethical and also AI, and the screen fatigue. We are very tired reading on our laptop every day, right? These are challenges that happens to teacher and educator today. Let's go to the teachers of tomorrow. What are the roles, the projected role of educators for tomorrow? So what our role? What role must tomorrow's educators play? First, teacher as critical communicators and ethical leaders. We must shape students who think critically in a digital world. A recent Malaysian study found only 37% of our youth demonstrate high media literacy. This is considered very low, 37%. This is where AI can help us. In Minecraft Education's Read Smart, AI detective. This is a project. Students act as detectives, solving cases of misinformation and deep fakes. They must cross-check if evidence and spot when AI has created falsehoods. This isn't just a game. It is a training the next generation to question, verify, and reason. Similarly, researchers at Cornell University encourage students to critique AI-generated essay. Is the evidence accurate? Is the argument balanced? Could there be bias? By treating AI as a thinking partner rather than an answer machine, students develop higher order skills. Second, teacher as community builders. Our work extends beyond classroom. In Malaysia, many teachers use WhatsApp groups to coordinate with parents and extend learning beyond school walls. And it's quite actively using by teachers in the school today in Malaysia. And tomorrow's teacher will expand this into global ecosystem where local initiatives connect with international networks. And third, teacher as innovators in sustainable pedagogies. I believe that some of the point has been mentioned by my colleagues just now. You see, from the edible schoolyard in California, where students learn science through gardening, to the Sandwatch initiative, where youth monitor their beaches for climate impacts, to the School of Environmental Study in Minnesota, partnering with their zoos and governments. These projects show how students can connect curriculum with real-world sustainability challenges. These are some of the picture of the projects. Minnesota. All right. Now, number 4, this is our roles. Teachers as shapers of socially responsible AI use. AI is not the enemy, as has been mentioned by my colleagues just now. It is a tool, but we must ensure it is used ethically. A recent study introduced a Socratic chatbot. I think Miss Izati, she's good in that. She conducted training for us. Oops. All right. That never give a direct answer. Instead, it asks probing questions, forcing students to reflect and analyze. Such AI tutors can strengthen reasoning, not replace it. And other classrooms use activities like the AI audit card game, where students act as AI startup and must defend their design against ethical challenges raised by peers. This approach trains students to see the risk, responsibility, and societal impact of AI. Now let's discuss of some of the practical strategies teachers can adopt today. Let me suggest 4 practical strategies. Number 1, embed digital citizenship. That means use frameworks like Singapore's SURE campaign or AI literacy activities to teach fact-checking and safe online behavior. Number 2, adopt multimodal and experiential learning. Turn schoolyards into gardens, labs, and outdoor classroom. Project like Sandwatch and the Boston Schoolyard Initiative shows that place-based learning enhance engagement. Number 3, practice sustainable teaching. Go paperless, integrate green practices, and use local infrastructure as teaching tools like Discovery, Elementaries, Solar Dashboards. And number 4, join global networks. What we are doing today, we are doing global networks. Platforms such as the PBL, Problem-Based Learning, for global climate justice allow teachers to co-design climate projects across borders, building a culture of shared responsibility. Let me close with this reminder. The teacher of tomorrow is not just a transmitter of knowledge, but a cultivator of conscience, creativity, and community. As teacher, we must rise as leaders of change, not just in a digital classroom, but in building sustainable futures and embedding ethical AI practices. Because if we truly want future-ready learners, we must first nurture future-ready teachers. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ng, for emphasizing on the evolving role of teachers of tomorrow, who must lead change as facilitators, mentors, and advocates for sustainable and meaningful education in the digital era. So again, I'm opening the questions to the floor. We allow one question. Yes.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Very interesting one. Thank you. My question is laced somehow, not in the topic of the presentation, but maybe you can say something about that. How do you think, what is the role of the government or the Ministry of Education in realizing of what you said in your presentation?
This is actually a very good question, because when I was a journalist, or when we always say political view is very important, because these are the policy makers. If there is a push and pull factors, things can happen. Let me just touch a little bit about what happened to our higher education in Malaysia. In fact, starting last year, our Malaysia Quality Framework 2014, that to be replaced our Malaysia Quality Framework 2017, 2024, and 2017. That was the last version. In this upcoming new version, actually all the all the lecturers in the university, and even we as the program assessor for MQA, we are called for training to how to redesign, or we wouldn't say redesign, is actually how to integrate sustainability competency in our syllabus. So, of course, it's quite complicated if I want to explain here, but what I'm saying here in Malaysia, our higher education, the policy makers, the MQA is moving, preparing us towards how we can actually design our curriculum, every subject, every program, that in line with your university vision and mission, so that we can integrate sustainable competency. There are 8 competency that listed down. So I believe that with this kind of move, it's not only happened in Malaysia. When SDG goals coming in, I think quite many years ago, we are actually live about 5 years to complete 2030 for SDG goals. But what we can see is in the past a decade and more, a lot of institutions in Malaysia, I believe in your country as well, we are trying to also drive our syllabus, our student, our teacher, teaching and learning towards that direction. So yes, government is very supportive, at least in Malaysian context, that I can assure you. I hope this answers your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the audience for your questions, and our panelists, thank you for your answer as well. So now we have come to the end of the session. So from today's sharing from our panelists, it is clear, it is clearly enlightening, I would say, from Dr. Prof. Masanori's incorporation of educational innovation to Dr. Shafiqa's embracing of plural futures. And of course, not forgetting Dr. Haida's bridging of the equitable tech solution and our very own Dr. Amulan's sharing on the executors, which are the teachers. So all I can say is that whatever that they have shared today have given us a message that while technology continues to transform education, it is our shared responsibility as educators, researchers, and policymakers to ensure that digital education advances equity, sustainability, and human-centered values. So on behalf of the IDEC 2025 Organizing Committee, I would like to sincerely thank our panelists once again for their valuable insights, and of course to our audience for your thoughtful engagement. So with that, we conclude this panel session. Thank you, and let us continue to carry forward this conversation throughout the rest of the conference. Thank you. Yes, please. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Cheng and panel speakers. Our next plenary speaker starts at 3:10. 3:10. So that gives us 20 minutes, just under, for a coffee break. Coffee and Malaysian snacks, Malaysian bread rolls and Malaysian 3-in-1 coffee are served on level 2 downstairs, okay? Please try and be back by 3:10. 3:10. Thank you. Okay, we're starting. Considering the conference began slightly late because of the technical issues, we're actually making remarkably good time. So let's try and keep that up as we welcome Dr. Solomon, who is from the British University in Dubai. Dr. Solomon, Associate Professor, Dr. Solomon Arulraj David. Okay, Dr. Solomon's key research interests are comparative international higher education. It'll take me a while to read these. Educational management, leadership, and policy, with other research interests including curriculum, teacher education, sociology of education, professional ethics, intercultural peace, value, and citizenship education. His list of accomplishments is too long to list here. But one interest to note is that he's also a TEDx speaker. So he's famous. Congratulations for that. Let's give our final welcome to Dr. Solomon as he takes the stage. Thank you very much, Dr. Solomon. The microphone is yours. This is your clicker, and that's next.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Here we go.
Yeah. Welcome again. I think I should really praise you all for being brave to stay until the end. You're all the daring one. So I try not to disappoint you for staying long. All right, so I have only 10 slides, which I can finish in 10 minutes or in 10 hours. So you can choose, or I'll choose. If you're ready to sleep here or for the rest of the day. All right, so okay. We have been hearing a lot of discourse today on digital transformation, and mainly, if you look at the conference theme, the main key interest of the conference is to look forward to see how digital transformation and digital education can help us to further education. So that's a very futuristic, a visionary theme that we have. So we had a lot of interesting debates, discussions, panel, and keynote speeches. all through the day. I think that we have enough information overload for the day. I will try to recap some of them perhaps in my closing last plenary to sum up. And I will also try to challenge some of these thoughts as we have the other side, right? So one of the, I think many of you have repeatedly said the meaningful use of digital platforms in our teaching learning practices, which is a very strategic and smart view and approach. But there's also when it comes to digital education or technology in education, there's obviously three standpoints. One, people are really who are anxious and enthusiastic and embracing it fully, right? They are like the advocates. On the other side, we have the pessimists about the technology use. They are the people who are against it. And then in the middle ground, we have people who don't care anything. Let it be. I just want to do what I want, right? So we know all these thoughts. And my job is going to be very simple because I'm not going to have big, arguments here or people who are against my thoughts here because we're all in the same platform, educational sector. We don't have any tech oligarchs here. We don't have any tech educational, business profile people are here. So I think they will not be able to fight with me on this platform, which is good always to have frictions and debates on what we think. So I was just thinking of to sum up my reflection within this broader, longer title, where I look through pedagogical resilience in an age of rapid digital transformation. So in COVID, we all were really pushed to embrace technology very rapidly. Right after the COVID and within that short time, the AI hype is really pushing us, right? There's a massive AI hype. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is trying to embrace it very quickly in the absence of proper AI policy, AI regulations. So it is creating big chaos and confusions and anxiety among learners and teachers. So how we can really create a healthy human machine interface for effective teaching and learning. That's what's going to be my thoughts today. So how do I move the slides? Oh, this one. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sorry. See, I'm still struggling with technology. Okay, so you have a reason why I'm trying to reflect this way. Right, again, this is going to be, which is the big one. Okay. So that's a technical glitch. We always can have this technical glitch, and then we can often struggle with this kinds of delays when we are only depending on technology heavily. One of my colleague, a very senior colleague, used to joke saying, "You need PowerPoints when you don't have a point." Right? So I don't need the PowerPoint. I can talk, but I would still need to stay around the topic. So I need to perhaps go back to that. Yes, the second slide was very close here. Yes, good. Thank you. Right. So as I move on, I would like to invite you to reflect quickly on the works done by Jacques Ranzier. Perhaps some of you know about this work called The Ignorant Schoolmaster. Anyone who read this book or came across this book, The Ignorant Schoolmaster? Right. So The Ignorant Schoolmaster, I need to give a quick recap of well, Ranzier is a bit difficult to read and understand. Ranzier writes the whole book from the French political project, social project of emancipation, intellectual emancipation, connecting that intellectual emancipatory project to education and learning. So there's a story at the beginning of this book about a teacher called Joseph, I think, is a French teacher commissioned to teach French to Flemish children in the Flanders region in Belgium, where I studied, obviously. Teacher Joseph goes to teach French to the Flemish children with the teacher mindset, thinking that the children know nothing, that he has to teach everything. You know, the very classic tabula rasa that existed from Plato's time. The children are born empty-headed. We have to feed everything. So the same mindset, the teacher goes with his patriarchy mind to teach the children, and realizing later that the children can learn French without his support even, right? And that's the ignorant schoolmaster, right? The same way, we could be ignorant schoolmaster, either to use technology or not to use technology, or don't care about using technology. In any of the case, we could be either ignorant schoolmaster or the smart schoolmaster. So I have a couple of questions to continue our reflection. Are we ignorant or inspiring schoolmaster, either embracing or not embracing technology? Do we develop ignorant or inspiring learners through digital transformation? Does the digital transformation help our learners to be smart, or depending on technology, or being led in a particular way of thinking? This is what all these algorithms behind the AI tools are designed for, right? That if you do not understand the socio-political perspective behind all these AI tools, they are strategically designed to make us think in a particular pattern, in a particular manner, right? So how resilient, how are we embracing digital transformation? How resilient we are to deal with digital transformation? Will the AI algorithm make the use, will the AI algorithm will help us to become an informed or ignorant schoolmaster? And how healthy we are connecting with the machine use, the interface? And are we, in a way, intellectually emancipated while we are going to depend heavily on the digital transformation? Or can we intellectually emancipate the learners, allowing them to use all these digital platforms and making them depending on them without allowing them to think for themselves? So one of the interesting questions Ramsey asks in this book, which could be relevant even for our reflection today, is if you think education is expensive and hard, and even if you put that way, if you think the digital education is expensive or hard, then try to be ignorant, right? Or try to be digitally ignorant, right? So that's more expensive, right? And then Ramsey is asking, here's another reflection. If you think emancipation is difficult, and then be in bondage forever. So if you're not emancipating yourself, either in any regard or even digitally, you're going to be in bondage in one or other way. So you need to think for yourself. If not, somebody else is going to think for yourself. You need to think for yourself, or the algorithm is going to think for yourself. You get me, right? So that's the starting point I would like to depart with. Right. So I don't want to go into the details of the digital transformation. We all know that. So I can save time on that. You know what it is changing, how it is going through all of this, and then the disadvantages and challenges of that. And if you see here, one of the interesting, alarm for us, humans are hooked while machines are learning. We are having increasingly machines that are self-learning, self-thinking machines, right? But we are stuck with the machines. We are thinking in the way that the machines are thinking. We stop thinking the way that we used to think, or the way that we have to think freely. So the free thinking is what is going to be a thing that is going to be antic, right? So we will be depending on someone's knowledge, the way that these AI platforms, the tools are trained, and we will follow that pathway, and we will keep our thinking in that line. And this is the safest way in future. If you think all in a different way, it's going to be risky and dangerous for you, because we'll be in a very, very constructed, regulated world very soon. Everything is going to be digitalized. Everything is going to be codified. We will be part of that algorithm, right? So those free thinkers will be either rebels or they will be isolated, and you have to face that challenges. Anyway, I'll skip that part. Great. So now there are some shocking phenomena about depending heavily on technology. I don't know whether this is a factual information. It's a social media stuff, so I can't really trust, but I still want to showcase that here. MIT did a brain scan of people who are using ChatGPT and people who are not using ChatGPT, right? And then people who use ChatGPT, their mental ability weakens to 83%, right? And then they forget their own writing and neural activity that has dropped for 47%. Is it good sign? So, or bad sign? But again, on the other side, should we really be super traditional? One of the interesting things that we have never changed is the classroom design. Look at the classroom in 1930, the classroom in 2013, even 2015, 2025, it's the same, right? The seatings. And if you see some of the designs have never changed in our life. One of the interesting things is the lock and the key. It's been there like for ages. Nobody thought of changing the key and lock. It's the same design, right? So we get stuck with a tradition in some settings while we try to go advanced in some areas. So how are we really taking digital transformation in learning as well as in our personal life is a big question. There are a lot of radical movements that are happening. One of the interesting things that we witnessed recently is a university without professor. You heard about that project in Paris? An entrepreneur in Paris started this university. I forgot the name of the university. He started a university in Paris in 2016. Then the next few years, he started another one in California. The university is called the University Without Professors. So students teach themselves. I know ChatGPT, I teach you ChatGPT. You know language, you teach me language. We don't have to pay to the university. We don't have to pay to the professor. So that's a new design that is evolving. Peer tutoring, and the future schools are going to be with less teachers. There are already projects across the world. IBM is experimenting with humanoid teachers. Many countries, they have already deployed humanoid teaching assistants to test and experiment how this is going to work. Virtual classrooms, a lot of people are following YouTube channels to learn. So that's very much changing. And then that could really possibly change the classroom settings. So this is something that we need to keep in mind. Right, so now in this kind of a chaotic world, one of my friend who's an IT expert, he's in the Silicon Valley in California. I spoke to him recently about this AI hype. So I talked to him, there are hundreds of tools. I don't know which one I should follow, which one I should really depend on. Should I go with the OpenAI or what is this, the Chinese DeepSeek or Perplexity? There's so many of them for research and teaching. I don't know which one I can trust, right? He said, don't rush. It's a big chaotic time for AI. Wait another few years, it will settle down. It will settle down. And then you can choose, which would really be the good one to embrace or not. So that's the resilience we need to really think of. What kind of pedagogical resilience we need to see, how we can become as teachers resilient to this chaotic moment, and how we can enable our learners to be resilient in learning with all these things. And we have professors who are panicking about using all these technological tools, right? And then students who are not really technologically tech-able, they are also struggling with that. So pedagogical resilience technically is the ability of educators and learning environments to adapt and thrive in the phase of disruptions and uncertainty. How we can really stay strong and come back with our own way of learning. I don't have to really accept the status quo just because it's been pushed on me in a rapid way without having any regulation and policy. But I also don't want to really rebel against it, but I will try to see if I can really meaningfully engage with it, if possible. So we need to understand this distinctions when we talk about pedagogical resilience. The didactic, my tongue is rolling, didactic formalism versus didactic. What is the world is? Radicalism and then the realism. So when we talk about teaching, learning, these three interesting notions have to be kept in mind. There would be always some formalism that will be pushed by some traditionalist that we have to follow this path and that path. And the radicalist approach, we can try that. We can use innovative technology and so on. And again, we need to think of realism, which is suitable for our own students, the learning community that we are teaching. So that's where we need to be strategic in deciding what kind of pedagogic resilience we need to uphold. Anyway, so some of the readings I have done for this paper that indicates that the teacher's resilience and reflective practices are very critical in understanding, in coping with this kind of chaotic situation. And pedagogical resilience often helps to use a variety of pedagogical resources for effective teaching and learning purposes. So it is pedagogical resilience is not to counter, but to really find a strategic way to embrace all possible approaches in which we can help. And obviously, it's allowing us to embrace the awareness, understanding, and reflections and on the teaching and learning practices. And pedagogical resilience of teachers and learners are determined by the strategies of individuals. So there are 4 layers. So it can happen at the individual level. The pedagogical resilience can happen at individual level. How I am able to cope myself is very important as a teacher. Then how I can really help my learners, the interpersonal, right? The interpersonal level, how I can help my colleagues to cope with this chaos, how I can help my students to cope with these challenges. Then it comes at this institutional level, how my institution can help the rest of the folks in coping with all these chaotic situations. And then at the learning community level, at the school, at the broader school community, or at a national level, and so on. So this is what we need to really develop as part of the pedagogical resilience process. Great. So if you see it here, if you really think of technology and pedagogy as a two big constructs, where should you really put, in front or at the back? So if you put the technology at front, if you put the technology at the front, the pedagogy comes behind, right? And the pedagogy should be in front, and technology should be at the behind. So a lot of the time, people really put the technology in front, and they keep pedagogy at the backside, and that may not really be very helpful. And I'm sure that you all are familiar with the TPAC framework. Now we even talk about the TIPAC framework, including the AI engagement and so on. And the 3 key skills that all teachers and learners have to embrace is the subject mastery and then pedagogic knowledge before they go to the technological skills and so on. I don't want to stay much in this. So the main thing that you need to understand, we have to keep pedagogy in front before we use technology. That's the main thing. But then again, at the end of the day, a lot of the time, many of us try to smart out technology, right? So have you noticed when ChatGPT was started being used predominantly, many of us try to play fun with the ChatGPT. One of the guy asked ChatGPT, what is 5 plus 7? 5 plus 2. ChatGPT said 7. And he replied to ChatGPT saying, no, but my wife says it's 8. And ChatGPT said, no, it's 7. No. My wife is must be sure it's 8. How do you know that your wife is sure? She has a PhD. And then ChatGPT said, maybe your wife could be right. So when you repeatedly persuade the AI tool, it tries to follow your suggestions. So that's one of the big trick when you smart out technology. Recently, there was another guy who tried to play with ChatGPT, asking, these are tools that searches the internet sources and find the answers for you, right? Or the way that it is trained, it's going to help you. So one of the guy, he asked, if you ask ChatGPT or any OpenAI sources, who's the father of Einstein, it should know. And then he simply asked random person who's not that celebrated, who's the father of Johnson? And it gave some random name as father, because it found hundreds of Johnson in the list, and then with all the further prompting, which Johnson from where, blah, blah, blah. Then finally it gave the answer of the father. And he said, no, he's from here, blah, 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 blah. And then the ChatGPT gave more than 10 possible answers as father. So do you want to trust such tools that is going to give you 10 fathers? So that's another big risk depending on technology heavily. All right, so now the human-machine interface. Of course, I was joking. There's also value in using all these tools, but we need to find it as meaningful for us to use. So it's always better to see the value in it. And obviously the human machine interface is a big field in itself. So HMI is a user-friendly system that allows a person to monitor, control, and interact with the machine or industrial process, blah, blah, blah. This is becoming a huge new field in itself. Some assumes that all these current obstacles that I was joking, is going to be very soon fixed, right? They're not going to be like that. These machines, these tools are going to learn, and they are going to change. They're going to get better in the future. Or even they are foreseeing that these obstacles will be either removed or overcome sooner or later, very soon. Of course, the AI hype, AI anxiety, there's big AI agenda as well, which not all of us know very clearly. Even for the critics, it's not very evident what agenda is behind with the pushing of this AI usage very actively now. And if you see, if you try to connect the dots, we have COVID, and then we have AI push, and then now we have a lot of job loss, right? There's also promises that no new jobs will be created. Yesterday, I read Accenture, which is one of the business processing company, has fired 11,000 employees, and more are coming in line. There's a company in Texas, a HR company in Texas, that has predicted a few years before that 40% of world's jobs will be disappearing by 2030, right? So, which means the AI advocates say that there will be new jobs, obviously, but not 40% of new jobs, maybe 4, maybe 10. So there will be a lot of people who will be losing job. A few months before, a year before, I wrote in a blog an article when I read an interesting information that there was a robot that was designed to pick apple. And they were bragging that this robot is super smart to find the right apple to pick at the right time. So it is much efficient. And I said, oh my God, the poor guy has no skill, no job. He would be doing that job. And we are going to steal that job from that person, right? So I wrote this in a blog with the title, Machines Do Not Have Stomach, But Humans Do, right? We need jobs. We need our life to thrive, right? We don't need all these machines to replace instantly, but that's going to change rapidly. This is another big shock that we have to be aware. And then the way that these AIs are trained, and some of the big issues that recently that has been posted in social media is the hallucination issues around the AI. So you repeatedly prompt the AI, it can really give you all multiple answers that it can give you, which is not going to be accurate or factual. And this is going to be another big challenge with all these chatbots. And prompt hacking is another big issue. People can, you do prompt hacking, which is another challenges that all these AI, masters have to be aware to avoid all these problems, and prompt manipulation. So you, for instance, the ones who's training a particular chatbot can design it in a way that it can benefit their own status quo and agenda. That's another challenge that we need to understand. And automation, bias, discrimination, all of this, we know that. So how do we really overcome all of these challenges as we are going to get together as human machine, to develop and evolve in a better world is another big thing. There's no universal law yet to regulate it. This is another big challenge. EU is the only bloc that has created a comprehensive law on AI regulation. The rest of the world has no AI regulation or clear regulations on that. So that is another big struggle that we are at the moment having. In any case, whatever the design comes, there's always a user experience, right? The design could be something, and then the user experience will be certainly something different. So this is another big struggle that we are going to continue to experience when we are going to use that. And of course, one of the advocacy that I have been making for a long time is the best way to deal with all this chaos is moving to the direction of forward learning curriculum and instruction. So we have to be ahead of the game to understand what's coming next rather than getting stuck in the past or in the present. So we have to stay in that direction. As a closing thought, I would like to say that, using some of the best pedagogical practices that we have, that we feel comfortable is very critical in this chaotic moment with all this AI anxiety that we go through, or in any digital transformation. So that will help us to reconceptualize, recontextualize, reframe with resilience to meet any pedagogical nexus that are drawn from range of technological social disruptions that would come anytime in the future as well. So the end goal of pedagogical resilience, therefore, must not merely to counter digital or social transformation, rather to establish a meaningful and healthy human-machine interface. That's what I would like to close with. And pedagogical resilience is pivotal in dealing with the digital transformation by developing a healthy human-machine interface. I'll stop here. Thank you.
I don't need my phone anyway. Are you okay? Good. We're not open for questions at the moment, but we do need to move on. I'm very, very grateful. So thank you so, so much, Dr. Solomon. We have a saying in English, which is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so many things have been the same for so long. Motor cars, door locks, education. But at some point, something has to change. And there's always a trigger. And the recent trigger, I guess, was COVID. We're not open to questions. Okay. It's okay. Yes, so what was I saying? The recent trigger was COVID, but there are now so many changes happening so suddenly, so fast, in so many different areas. So it's understandable that people have all these concerns and that we need to develop digital resilience and how to do that. So your speech is very, very interesting on many levels. Additionally, for all of you now, you now know what it's like to be part of a TEDx audience. So thank you very, very much, Dr. Solomon. Right. We are approaching the end of IDEC 2025. We hope that you've enjoyed your time and learned something new. We're moving to the closing address. Okay. Before we come to the final closing ceremony and awards, we'd like to welcome our conference chair, my colleague, my good friend, and my hero, Miss Jane Xavierine. Jane, come on down. Really big round of applause for Jane because she's done so well in mastering this. Over to you, Jane.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the close of the International Digital Education Conference 2025. I stand here with a heart full of gratitude and I must admit a little relief that it's over. And that I believe that I hope for your sake that everything went smoothly, or at least smooth enough that you didn't notice the little bumps that we had along the way. I want to take a moment to thank the people who made this conference possible. To my amazing co-chair, Ms. Izzati, who is very busy inside. Thank you so much for being my partner in crime through months and months of planning. I honestly don't know how many, WhatsApp messages and emails that I've exchanged with Izzati, but I'm very sure it's some sort of a new world record. And to Prof. Wong, Prof. Cheng, Dr. Chu, thank you for believing in me and giving us, the whole committee, an opportunity to bring INTI's name here to Central Asia, something that I don't think we've ever dreamed of, in the years that we've been at INTI. It is such an honor to carry that trust and showcase what our committee can do in this international stage. And to our friends here in Almaty, especially to Senseiya, Alicia Senior, Alicia Junior, is Alicia here? Aspar, and to Anar. Okay. Yes, he's here, Alicia Junior. Dr. Zanar, I think he's not here. IDEC would not have been possible without our amazing colleagues here at Narcos University. Thank you for your endless patience and your kindness. It means so much to us. I hope that this conference has been much more than just papers and PowerPoint presentation. It's about people, people coming together from different places, time zones, sharing ideas, laughing and discovering, sometimes the best insights come in the hallway chats, not just in the sessions. Okay, so our hope, all the committee here, is that we hope you hit home not only with new knowledge, but also with new friends. I know I've made many new friends, good memories, and maybe even a few stories that will make you smile when you think back at our time here together at, Almaty and Narcos University. And finally, not forgetting to the rest of my amazing IDEC team. Okay, I'm not sure where everybody is. Thank you so much for working tirelessly for months, juggling emails, spreadsheets, and literally last-minute requests, with grace and, not only, and, some occasional panics, but it's okay. Okay, you made this conference come alive. And finally, to all our delegates, our esteemed speakers, thank you so much for your energy, your insights, and your willingness to share. Conference, without participants, it's just a very well-decorated hall, I would say. So thank you for being here in person and online, and for making IDEC a true community. Yes, the student helpers as well. We have so many of them today with us. Student helpers, thank you so much for helping throughout the 2 days, the pre-conference and also today as well. So on that note, I officially declare the close of IDEC 2025. Thank you so much for being a part of us. And I hope there's IDEC 2026. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see you again next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right, how are we doing for time? Not so bad. Right, now the moment that we've been waiting for, closing ceremony. For that, I'd like to invite on stage Dr. Jana Arjun-Bayeva, Vice President for Science and Commercialization at Narcos University, accompanied by Pro-Vice Chancellor of INTI International University, Prof. Wong, and our conference chair, Miss Jane again. So they'll be presenting tokens of appreciation to all the plenary and keynote speakers today, as well as the workshop trainers and the judges. So please welcome them back on stage. Okay. Yeah, we can wait for Dr. Zana. She's been called, yeah? Okay. So our hostess with the mostest is on the way. Okay, so we've got a few moments. So we do have an opportunity for some questions or comments or feedback. So, or even some music. You had a question earlier, so if you want to raise that question now to Dr. Solomon, would you like to? Okay, you available? Okay, far away. Here's my microphone.
Thank you very much for the amazing presentation. Amazing, literal. And we're seems like-minded persons. So the question is the following. Recently, I had a conversation with one of my colleagues about the future of higher education. In a time, not only generative AIs, but seriously more important time of AI agents. Because agentic systems can do anything, almost anything, without us. We just ask them, say, give them a task. Read this book, summarize it, say read, right? Summarize it, give me a few sentences, open my assignment on my electronic course, write it there, and so on and so forth. In one moment, we can meet the case of that university. When teachers create assignments using AIs, students make these assignments using AIs, and what in the end? How do you think, if you see any possibilities or any ideas, it's a very provocative question, I understand, but just in case, what is the solution to avoid the case of that university? Thank you.
You know, I think I call this it's a blood period that we go through. We don't have policies, we don't have regulations, but we are going through all of that. There was an interesting seminar in which students in Abu Dhabi in an event, they were literally saying that students are not allowed to use AI while our professors are using it. How ethical is this, right? So this is one question. So where are we? How are we going to allow? Again, the other issue, we can actually use these tools to minimize our job. The good side of these tools, I came across a couple of scientific breakthroughs. I can't remember them by heart, but there has been cases where they said some of the scientific challenges that has been going through 40 plus years were resolved in 4 hours using these tools. So they are meaningful in some way, but they can also be harmful in some way. So striking a balance, using it meaningfully, and then overcoming this very gray period that we go through without regulations and frameworks is what we have to really struggle with. I don't have a definite answer here. We need to constantly question and think and find a better way to deal with them. I think as educationists, we need to reflect about it carefully. But then more than that, the leaders who are sitting up there, they have to make a careful decisions like what the EU did. EU was bold enough to come forward, although it is going to be a risky thing for the regulations that they made because the breakthrough might be slowed down in EU, while the other countries might be fast enough. But then EU is protecting its citizens, need and their rights. So you need to make your choices carefully as country, as regions, as the whole world. I think even universities have to carefully think about it. Some universities are really going fast, aggressively to use it. Some are really, waiting and watching. And then I think many people in the readings I read, it's better to wait and watch rather than go and crash or wait for ages not to do that. So this is what I can think at the moment, but maybe if others have other reflections, you're welcome to contribute to. Thank you.
Well, we need to move forward now. I think it's a very good question, and it's a question that's probably on most of our minds. And the reason that we keep asking this question is because there isn't a good enough answer yet, because we're in this abyss. But it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time. And hopefully in the fullness of time, we will have that answer. Going back to our awards. So welcome back to you, Dr. Jana. I'd like to invite on the stage Dr. Jana Arjinbayeva, Okay, Vice President of Science and Commercialization at Narcos University. Accompanied by our Pro-Vice Chancellor at INTI University, Prof. Wong, and our conference chair, Miss Jane. Oh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. They're going to be presenting tokens of appreciation to all the plenary and keynote speakers today, as well as the workshop trainers and the judges. So for this, let's invite on stage, and please come to the stage one at a time to receive your reward. Firstly, Professor Alicia Yuldashev. Here. So that's how it's done, guys. So next on the agenda, Dr. Christoph Benyevezi. Where are you? Okay, next, Professor Dr. Masanori Fukui. Are you here? Come on down. Associate Professor Dr. Solomon Arulraj David. Come back on the stage once again. Okay, our own Associate Professor Dr. Ung Mu Luan. Dr. Haida Umiera Hashim. Dr. Noor Shafika Yekol. Woo! Professor Dr. Mi Young Hong. Professor Dr. Mohammed Atik Tahir. Are we missing somebody? Not here? Okay, so Associate Professor Dr. Yersha Sapajano. On behalf of, good enough. Welcome on behalf of. Yes. Miss Anna. Miss Anna Barzega-Livna Abdul Kalieva. Dr. Kumutta Raman. Dr. Rachel Tan Singh E. And finally, Dr. Anne Tingnam. Dr. Anne. There you are. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Dr. Jana, Prof. Wong, and Miss Jane for the expressions of thanks. It bears repeating just how truly grateful we are for everybody's fantastic contribution and participation, without which this event wouldn't have been possible. As Jane said, it would be an empty hall. Also, a heartfelt thanks goes to all the panel of judges for the e-poster submission category. Your effort, time, and consideration have helped us to recognize the excellent work submitted this year. Please join us in thanking them. Their names are now up on screen. Thank you to all of them. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we now take a moment to recognize the recipients of our bronze, silver, and gold awards, a celebration of outstanding contributions across two categories offered during IDEC 2025. We'll begin with the e-poster submission category, followed by the track presentation category. So we now present the list of bronze, silver, and gold award recipients. Please turn your attention to the screen. Excellent. Well done, well done, well done. Okay, now we've come to one of the most anticipated moments. Oh, we're still going. Silver Award. Well done, all you silvers. So many. Okay, Bronze Award, go for it. track presentation category. So many awards. You'll forgive us for having to announce them on screen in this way, but there are really far too many names to list out. So Best E-Posters and Track Presentation Award now, which is one of the most anticipated moments of IDEC, will begin with the recipients of the Anwar Asimov Award for Best E-Posters. This award is given to the top 5 best e-poster submissions, and each winner will receive $40, proudly sponsored by the University of Innovation Technologies, UIT Uzbekistan, and an official certificate in recognition of their outstanding submission. Please direct your attention to the screen for the announcement of the winners of the Anwar Asimov Award for Best E-Posters. Okay, now we move to the announcement of the Elmur Kushmarotov Award for Best Track Presenters. For your information, our panel judges have selected 2 best presenters from each track, and all our 10 winners will receive $100, proudly sponsored by the University of Innovation Technologies, UIT Uzbekistan, and an official certificate in recognition of their outstanding track presentation. For this, I'd like to welcome on stage Professor Dr. Yarkonga Grarov, Vice Rector of the University of Innovation Technologies, UIT Uzbekistan, accompanied once again by Professor Alicia, Prof. Wong, and Miss Jane, to give out the Elmur Kushmarotov Award for Best Track Presenters to the winners. Let's give a rousing show of hands as they come to the stage. So, our winners, I need to see them on screen because I don't have them now because they're not in my script because I didn't know who was going to win. So, for track 1, ODL Innovations and Challenges, the winner is da, 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 da. Woo! Eza Binti Madbaguri and Ahwai. Ahoy Chan. Well done. Congratulations. For track 2, Artificial Intelligence in Education. The winner is, wait for it. Okay, Mi Young Hong and Katrina Combravo. Natalia Kroselevela. Mi Young Hong first. Katerina Komrova. Both of you, well deserved. Thanks to both of you for your participation and contributions throughout this conference. Track 3, Digital Pedagogy and Instructional Design. The winner is? Okay, Ray, yes, do come up. For track 4, Inclusive and Accessible Educational Technology, the winner is, okay, Janelle Begalievela.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm here. I'm online present. I'm here. I'm online.
Okay. So next one, we go directly to track 5, Data Analytics, and Learning Assessment. The winner is, okay, Omrali, Aikumis, and Dijan Rajzerfi. Do we have our winners? Dr. Dejan? Rajsel. Okay. I'm getting the nod here. Congratulations to all our winners and award recipients. The results for all the awards should now be available on the conference website as well. So do check them out with pride. Being bronze, silver or gold awards in the track presentation category, you can collect your physical certificates at the registration counter at the end of this closing ceremony. Look at that. Really, we seem to be ahead of time. So we've more than made up for lost time at the beginning. So for those of you that want to miss the rush hour, it's good news. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap. That brings us to the end of our International Digital Education Conference, IDEC 2025. We trust that you'll take away. We trust that you'll take away all the knowledge that you've gained from this conference and implement it in your respective roles to enrich the digital education that we're providing to future generations. Before leaving, I'd like to invite all the participants to take a few minutes to complete the IDEC 2025 feedback form by scanning the QR code on screen. As a token of appreciation, you will receive your e-certificate of participation upon completing the form. Okay, I've got one final request, which is please can all the committee members for IDEC 2025 on both sides from NARCOS and INTI come to the stage for a group photo. In 5 minutes after you filled up your feedback form. Not that I'm rushing you. Okay, some of you are still filling out the form, and that's fine. Please continue. But that doesn't stop me from finishing what I would like to say, which is on behalf of the organising committee, we extend our heartfelt thanks to all our plenary speakers, panel members, presenters, and participants for your respective contributions. Additionally, our heartfelt thanks go to the members of the organising committee for making IDEC 2025 such a success, which I believe it is. We thank everybody for your attendance, especially all of you who have travelled to be with us here. So we trust your journey was a good investment of your time and energy. For your return journey, we wish you safe travels. And thank you once again for sharing this precious time together with us. Goodbye and God bless you all. Don't forget the committee photos. So committee members, Narcos and Inti up together. Come. One more time, please. Can we have all the committee members from Narcos and from Inti on stage? This is just the committee only. No. Committee members. Committee members. I don't mind. Okay.